What's up, YouTube? What's up? What's up? So this video gonna be about how Meg Ryan had auditioned for Endless Love, but the role went to Brooke Shields. That's right, Meg Ryan, who did Saving Prime Ryan and who did When Harry Met Sally when she was younger, audition. And I could actually see her eyeballs and her curls locking with Christopher Reeves if I think back to that movie back in the day, which Brooke Shields got. Uh, you'd be surprised how long ago some of these actresses been around. You'd be very surprised at how the imagery, the trajectory, you'd be very surprised. And some of them been around so long that you're on the assumption that, you know, um, it came easily when they had to wait their turn, bid their turn. It's amazing. But then they all kind of formally look alike in terms of like the eyes and the manner. It goes back to what I remember the actor Danny Glover, the great actor Danny Glover once said, it's all cosmetic in Hollywood. And basically they find the people that they want and then they get them into a particular role, etc. situation. What that movie would have done for Meg Ryan at the time is hard to say. Cause I didn't really get into her stuff until, time went on. I know that she was a more believable character actress than Brooke Shields, but then when you play a movie like The Blue Lagoon or something for Endless Love, or like, you do a movie like that, um, it would just required fantasy, and Brooke Shields was the hotter name at the time. Brooke Shields, for people who don't know, she was one of the biggest names at that time, because if you couldn't be Jodie Foster and you couldn't be Tatum O'Neal, you were Brooke Shields, and plus you were selling the jeans, which today, I don't know how that would fly. I don't know. But at that era and that time, different day, different time. But Meg Ryan, I'm really trying to think, probably could have. But see, sometimes when you take on certain roles, especially if they're considered to be, I don't know, teen magazine, because I was real popular back then. If they're real teeny bopper, they're real popular or something, they have a tendency to typecast you, you know, and sometimes you don't come out of that. It works differently for male actors, unless, of course, it's something that is kind of gimmicky or something. You got to be very careful with the kind of roles you take. I mean, there are exceptions, because I think about Keanu Reeves with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, and he went on to do, uh, you know, the Bus movie, and then he ended up doing, you know, The Matrix. And no one saw his career taking off like that. Speed, doing Speed one. No one saw that trajectory because they thought, oh, you're gonna be kind of like a goofball, and that can work for men and women. It depends on what kind of view you could take. But Meg Ryan, it worked out really well for, and she was able to be, you know. So interestingly, I don't know how that would have hit, but I think Brooke Shields was the right person for the said role. So, um, that's kind of how I went with that. But anyway, I kind of got stumped with thinking about it because I was thinking back in hindsight when I watched Endless Love and how big that was, but it didn't really take Brooke Shields to another level. Now, I asked myself this: she did quite well on TV and she did some plays and stuff, but I don't think Brooke Shields could have been in a decade later would have been in When Harry Met Sally with a Billy Crystal. I don't see that. Whereas Meg Ryan, and she did other roles which showcased her skill set. So sometimes it's best if it don't happen. It's all good. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like it. That membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm on. Peace.